Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Women in the Military podcast. I'm excited to have Rena here to talk about her experience in the military and about the work she's doing today. So, welcome to the show.
Hello, Miss Amanda. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for asking. So, I always like to start with the beginning. So, why did you decide to join the military?
Oh, wow. So most people get a kick out of the answer I'm about to give you. My mother said with a name like Marina, I should join the Navy. Because literally the Latin of Marina is marinus, which means of the sea. And I do love the ocean, just not really riding on it so much. Like I'm one of those people that gets really bad seasickness. So why did she join the Navy? Question is the question. Yes, it really was. Well, yes, my mom, of course, saying that, but it was also Top Gun, of course. Um, you know, the original one came out when I don't know, I think I was like 10 or something, and that was something that I really thought was a great way to focus on the Navy. And I don't know, I've always wanted to give back and be of service, and this was a great way. And I honestly did not plan on 24 years. It just kind of happened. I mean, I got to 10 years and I almost got out at the 10-year mark, and then I got promoted again, and then I was like, "Yep, okay, I guess I'll see what happens." And so it kept on going that way. So, yeah, I think that was that was it.
So, did you go to the Navy recruiting station to join, or like how did that process go?
Oh yeah, so I came back to the US. So originally I was living in Europe. I was working for Disney Paris. Back then it was called Euro Disney or something like that. Now it's Disneyland Paris Resort, I think, or Disneyland Paris Resort, something like that. And so I came back to the US in like I think the early 90s. Um, and came back for a dude. And that obviously didn't work out. Married to somebody completely different, but came back for a dude that we broke up. Things weren't working out, and so I had to move out of our shared place, find my own place, and I was working kind of, I don't want to say dead end jobs, but I was doing night audit for a hotel. I was also working in the Mall of America because at the time I was in Minnesota. Um, and I just was like, man, I need to do something different because this is just not the business right now. So I went in and talked to the different recruiters, did the hang for the Marine Corps. And then I was like, yeah, I'm not going to do this. And, there are times when I wish, I had chosen another branch, but you know what? I, I don't know. I'm very glad I did the time that I did because I met some amazing people in the Navy. I got to work with the French Navy for a little bit when we met in the middle of the ocean. Got to use my foreign language skills and all that. So it was fun. It was a good time.
That's awesome. So you went to the recruiting station, decided the Navy was the right branch, and then you have to wait a little bit between when you went to the recruiting station before you went to basic?
No, not really, hardly at all. Like maybe a few days. My first day was the 18th of February of 1997. That was my first. I think that's when we actually, I don't want to say landed, but like we're in Great Lakes. I think that was my first day. I'd have to look to see what day it is, but I know that was the day on my contract was the 18th.
And did you sign up with a job already in mind, or did you pick it out later?
I did. So I actually wanted to do one thing and ended up getting another, but I'll explain. So, because of my foreign language, I wanted to be something called a CTI, which is oh my gosh, I'm forgetting acronyms. This is wonderful. It's a cryptologic technician interpreter. So, I wanted to be an interpreter because I already spoke a foreign language. Languages for me are very easy. And I even tried to cross over into that rating, but I ended up getting promoted right when I would have been able to do that. Because the way that the Navy works is very similar or very different from all the other branches. All the other branches, you have a rank and then you have job codes. Whereas in the Navy, we have a job name and then we have the ranks that go along with it. But that is the main one. So I was a sonar technician. Um, yeah, I was a sonar technician for, for all 24 of my years that I was in. But the last 6 years, I was doing like DE&I, equal opportunity type work, but I'm still would call myself a sonar technician. It's not like the other branches where you would change the name of whatever you're doing based
Right.
on that job code. So yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So you said Great Lakes. You went to Great Lakes, which is like in the Chicago area.
Yep. 100%.
Yeah, I've done enough interviews to know that's where Navy people go most
It's
of the time.
freezing. When I went because that's like February, I think is still considered uh, winter time. So when
Yeah.
I was there February to April, it was like winter going into spring and it was not warm. And we were slip sliding on the ice all over the place. I mean, it was crazy.
I mean, it's interesting because it's like not good in the winter, not good in the summer, really not a good like it's kind of funny that's where they're like,
Well,
let's
and
put
but
it
isn't
here.
I feel like a lot of the different places are like that. Like, would you want to go to Paris Island in the summertime? In no, like for the Marines, like I feel so bad because that's where all the women used to have to go. Now
Right.
they can come here to MCRD on the West Coast. But yeah, they used to all have to go over and I just can't even imagine North Carolina in the summertime. No, thank you.
Yeah. Well, and Lackland for the Air Force is in Texas, which is not fun in the summertime either.
No. Oh my gosh. Agreed.
But at least in the winter, it's not so bad. I don't know. It just seems like up north, it's really, really cold. I don't know. But so, how was your time at basic? Were you like the mother hen? Because it sounds like you were a little older than everybody else.
So there was only a couple of us that were kind of older. I mean, I was 23. There was another
So
lady that I think
old.
was, yeah, so old, so old. Yeah, I was 23 when I went in, and there was, I think, one other lady that was, I think she was 30.
Oh wow.
Um, and she was coming in to be, back in the day, they had something called a JO, which is like a journalist type person, and she was going to do stuff with AFN, which is the Armed Forces Network. Now they call them MCs, which is media and
Something.
communications. I'm like, what does it mean? I forgot. I don't know. Yeah, so it's like a media and communications. They changed over and they kind of put photographers and drafters and journalists all together under that MC title. And I mean, I did try my best to, to shield the younger ones from any redonkulousness. I do remember because I was in shape back then. I do remember we had what is that called? Like a co-ed, because we had a male division and a female division that were under the same number. We were all in the same, we called them ships, but it was a big, long barracks building, and they were like one floor below us, and we were up there. And I remember us all having to, uh, it was called, we called it getting cycled. Basically what that is that you were doing like forward leaning rest position, which is, sitting in the up position of a push up. And I remember we would be there and then they would be like, down, up. And there was this guy across from me and he was bawling. And I'm like, bro, let's do this. You can do this. So I was like cheering him on and, trying my best to keep him motivated. But he was just like, and I'm like, you can do it.
You're like, this is easy. What's wrong with you?
You can do it.
That's funny.
It was pretty funny.
So when you finished basic training, did you go to a school?
Yes. So finished basic training in April of 97 and then went to California. So the sonar technician base is right in San Diego Bay. I mean, it's horrible place to go to school. Really so bad, so bad. Oh yeah, hated it. Yeah.
Every
So
day
it
was
was,
sunny. I mean, what the heck?
sarcasm, what? I would say it was probably a good like 15, 20 minutes away from the San Diego airport. I mean, it's literally right there. North Island, the aviation base was across the bay. Yeah, it was great. And I could see also the Naval Base San Diego because it was kind of around the corner. It was a great place to go to school. I mean, I really enjoyed it. San Diego is just fun. One thing that I remember was that even at my age at 23, I wasn't able to go out off the base until like, a certain, like you had to finish a school and then you were allowed to go out. I'm thinking to myself, I am 23 years old and you are preventing me from going out off the base. Like what? I've been, I mean, if I had been doing whatever since I was 18,
Right.
because, 18 over in Europe is drinking age, whereas, here in the States, obviously it's 21, but I don't know. I just thought it was so silly. But of course, I'm not gonna go against what they said. I was just gonna,
Right.
save
I
money.
mean, it's kind of that way for like, you just left home and they're trying to like protect you, but then you're
Yeah.
like, I'm 23. This doesn't really apply to me.
Like,
But
this
they're
makes no
like, no,
sense to me.
everybody.
I'm like, I've lived overseas and I know how to take care of myself. And I don't know. It just cracked me up that I wasn't able to go off the base and, had to write like little, if I did want to do something, had to write a request. Okay, I would like to go and do this and this and this and that. I'll be with this person, and we had to have like, even in the US at that time, I think we had to have like Liberty buddies to go with and all kinds of good stuff.
So after your training, did you stay in San Diego or did you move somewhere else?
Okay, so let's see. I'm doing math in my head here. So I did go to school in 97, and then so schooling for sonar technicians is pretty long. Especially I had not only an A school, which is the like the first school that you go to, your basic schooling. I also had something called a C school. So C schools are more in-depth electronics type of schooling. And so I had all of that before I was able to go to my ship. And
Okay.
I'm going to tell you a crazy story.
Okay.
So I was, at the time, I was dating a guy that I had met there at the base. And I was going to go to Virginia because his ship was going to be in Virginia. So I decided to choose a ship also that was going to be in Virginia because, we were going to meet up when we got over there. And the ship was the USS Cole. Well, he gets over there. I'm trying to get a hold of him. Things end up not working out. There was like interference from somebody else, just ridiculousness yet again. In any case, I was thinking to myself, you know what? I don't want to go to Norfolk. I don't really want to go over to the East Coast. I was going, to be with him. And instead, I took a ship in Japan. So I swapped with another girl, and I ended up going to the USS O'Brien, DD-975, and she ended up going on the Cole. She did not. She's not one of the people that ended up passing away from, from the explosion. But that just blew my mind. Like, holy cow, I could have been on that ship when that happened, but
Right.
obviously I wasn't, and I ended up going on the O'Brien. I was there from 98 to 01.
Okay.
That was, like I said, DD-975, and then after that, I went to DD-987, which was the O'Bannon. So I went from one OB to the next, is what I like to say. Yeah, O'Brien to O'Bannon, and that was 01 to 03. And
And
after
that was that
that,
still in Japan?
no, that was in Mayport.
Okay.
Mayport is outside of Jacksonville on the coast, uh, near the St. Johns River. And so, with that, when I was stationed there, stationed in Japan, I went out to, obviously with 9/11 happening, that was one of the things that we went and did. We were out in the Gulf. We were actually in Bahrain when 9/11 happened,
Okay.
literally in the Arabian Gulf. Not a great place for a U.S. warship to be when, so, we had gone in Straits of Hormuz in Bahrain. So sometimes I'm like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. Like, was this my fault? Because I re-enlisted 3 a.m. New York time
On
in Bahrain.
September.
And then,
And then
gosh,
everything changed.
yeah. And then we had a bit of a celebration, re-enlisted. I decided to go back to my rack, which was my bed in the ship, and I get woken up. It's about 3 something in the afternoon, like 3:30 in the afternoon Bahrain time, which was 8 something in the morning over in New York. And these girls in my that are in the sleeping area, they're all like yelling at the TV, and I get out of my bed, I'm walking over, and I'm like, what are you guys watching? What are you ladies, why are y'all yelling at the TV? What is going on? And they looked at me and they went, you need to sit down and watch this. And I was like, what? So didn't have my glasses. I'm like squinting at the TV. So I walk over, get my glasses, put them back, put them on. I sit down and I literally said to them, are y'all watching Independence Day? What is this? Because when you think about the planes hitting, like it literally looks like Independence Day where and I was just like, what are y'all watching? This is not, I don't understand what this is. And they're like, this is New York. This is live. And then obviously our captain got on the 1MC, which is like the ship-wide PA. And he says, hey, we are going to be leaving the Arabian Gulf in the next couple of hours. We ended up leaving 16 people behind because I had planned on going out in town. Like we were able to go out because everything was open, and yeah, we ended up leaving, like I said, 16 people ended up having to stay in Bahrain because we took off so fast. Like I have never seen our old ship move so fast. We headed out the Straits of Hormuz. I'm not going to say how fast because that's probably something I shouldn't say. But we were hauling ass, put it that way. we got out and into the Arabian Sea, and then our ship was one of the first ones to launch Tomahawks, and it was crazy. It was just the like I can't even put into words, like just, and I've never seen people try to get a ship underway so quickly. I mean, it was nuts. People were running down the pier to try to get on the ship before it left. I mean, it was insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then, like, for Mayport, being stationed there was so much fun. We got to go down to South America. I kid you not, I felt like the city Manta in Ecuador was beautiful, and I swear it was, like, our second home port other than Mayport because we kept pulling back into it. We got to go to, Chile, we got to go to Lima, Peru. I mean, just amazing, amazing. That's why whenever anybody asks me about joining the military, I'm like, there's some really cool stuff you get to do. I mean, I got to hang with French Navy people, and go visit their ship, and I got to take them around my ship. I mean, it was just so much fun. But that was my last ship, which was the USS Essex. It was a,
Mhm.
LHD-2 is what that one was. That was back in, let's see, 14 to 17, and that we went on deployment. And that was just really fun going out to we went out to the Gulf again for that deployment as well, and Hong Kong, a bunch of different places.
Yeah, you sounds like you got to travel a lot.
I did. Yeah. I mean, if I was to grab one of those maps and just put pins in it, it would be pretty filled up. I mean, there's obviously places I haven't been to. I really want to go to, like, what used to be the Eastern Bloc, like all those places like Montenegro, and um, just amazing looking, uh, history in
Mhm.
all those areas that used to be, underneath, Russia for that long time.
Yeah. Well, and I think it's always fascinating because I feel like the other branches were more not prepared for September 11th, whereas the Navy already had people deploying on a
We
regular
were there.
basis.
Yeah, we were
And I'm sure the
definitely.
ops tempo picked up a little, but you guys were like the Navy's job is to, roam the seas and like keep everyone safe. And there's never
100%.
a time where it's like, oh, we're just gonna hang out all in the United States. It's like you're always out, there's sea tours, short tours, and all that
Yep.
stuff and designed into the way that you guys operate. And so
Oh,
it's just
yeah.
interesting to hear, especially because you guys were like there, and then they were like, "We gotta go. We got a mission. Let's
Yeah.
get out
I
of
mean, we
here."
were already we were already on station, and then there was some other ships ended up showing up, like the John Paul Jones showed up, and then the carriers started showing up. I mean, I was
Nice.
on a small boy, which was, like I said, it was the O'Brien, at the time, and we ended up getting um, a Navy unit commendation, a military unit, I mean, like all these different things just for being out there, and the global war on terrorism
Right.
medals and stuff. I mean, it was not that I do it for the recognition, not at all. I mean, it was I don't want to say surprising that we got it, but it was good that we were recognized for
Right.
what we were doing out there.
Yeah. Are there any other things from your time in the military or experiences that you want to share before we kind of like shift to your transition? Because I want to make sure we talk about what you're
Ooh.
doing today.
Um, I mean, I have got tons of stories, but I don't know how, what we wanna chat about. I mean, there's gosh, I mean, 24
Were
years is
there
all been.
any like challenges during your career that you faced? It sounds like you got to do a lot of things
Yeah.
and use a lot of your skills, but were there any challenges that you faced?
Oh, absolutely. Women in the military are still such a small group. Um, and for me, and I've said this, and I feel like every woman I've ever said this to is nods along with me. Um, I feel that no matter how long you're in, that at some point you were probably harassed in some way or in a toxic, type of environment. I am
See me
lucky.
nodding.
Yeah, I mean, I am lucky that I was not one of those people that suffered, and I don't even like that we call it MST, military sexual trauma. No,
Right.
it's rape or it's assault. Um, like I said, I was lucky to not suffer from any of that, but I was definitely, harassed, like, verbally. Um, Here's one that I'm going to tell you. One of the origin reasons for military women's collective. So when I was stationed at the schoolhouse, so I remember I told you I was there in 97 going to school. Well, I ended up going back to the schoolhouse from 2004 to 2007. So this was after Japan, after Mayport school teaching. Um, while I was there, I ended up going underway to to a unit to help them out. And while I was underway, this guy kept talking to me. And I went up in the gym, I was working out, introduced himself, and I'm like, okay, great. I don't know who you are. I'm just riding this ship. This is not my actual duty station or anything. Come to find out, so I go down into not the barracks, to the berthing, which is what you call the area on the ship that people sleep in. And I was like, this dude just kept talking to me. And who is this guy? And I was talking to some of the girls in the berthing, and they said, oh yeah, that's our chief engineer. Okay, the chief engineer on a ship is probably in the top 5 of the command structure. Okay, commanding officer, executive officer, and then you've got a bunch of other people: chief engineer, admin officer, uh, weapons officer. Those people are all pretty high up in the rank structure too. And I was like, what? Why is he trying to hit on me? At that time, I think I'm like an E5, which is, a second class petty officer in the Navy. And I'm thinking to myself, what is this guy doing? So I take the person that told me who this person was, and she said to me, yeah, he's been trying to hit on me for like the entire time I've been stationed here. And I'm like, okay, this is not, no. Mm-mm. So I take her and I go to talk to the senior enlisted leader. So this is the person, in the Navy, we call them the command master chief. The command master chief is an E9. That's the highest rank of non-officers, non-commissioned officers in the Navy. And so I tell her what happened, what this person's doing. And I think, okay, she's going to talk to him, whatever. I end up getting called to go to the captain's at-sea cabin, which is way up by the bridge of the ship. I walk in, knock, 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 enter, walk in, and it's like a firing squad. Commanding officer, executive officer, command master chief. In a row, my chair is like here, so this is them in front and I'm here. And I'm like, oh, this is not what I think is good. Like, this doesn't seem like it's a good thing. And I'm like, I'm an E5. Like I said, I'm a junior non-commissioned officer at the time. And I'm thinking, yeah, I'm probably how old was I at that time? I'm trying to think. Probably like 25, maybe 25, 26, maybe. I don't know, something. Might not even have been. But in any case, they start basically berating me. There's no way that he would do something like this, blah, 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 blah. And I'm trying to respond back. I'm trying to tell them, look, he's been telling me this stuff, and he's been like he was emailing me from his personal email to the work email on the ship. And so, what I was doing? I was saving those emails and I was forwarding them to my own personal email. Okay. So after they berated me, because he's like, oh, I'll take care of you. Because we were going from California to Hawaii. And he was like, oh, in Hawaii, I'll take care of you and we can stay together. Blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, this dude, no. found out the guy, I mean, first of all, the dude was married. His wife had like just had a baby. To make a long story short, I get off of the ship in Hawaii, find out that I got promoted to first class, which is E6. And I'm like, that I was happy, yes, but I was also sad because I couldn't cross rate anymore. Remember, I told you I wanted to be a CTI? Couldn't do that anymore after I made the E6 ranking. So once I get back to California after, hanging out in Hawaii, celebrating the fact that I got promoted, I head back a couple days later back to California. I'm at work and I get an email from the RILSO, the Regional Legal Services Office. And they said, we need you to come over to Naval Base San Diego because we need to depose you. And I'm thinking, what did I do? Like, I'm in trouble. I don't know what I did wrong. Holy crap. Like the Home Alone kind of thing. And so I head over there and I'm thinking, what is going on? And so what ends up happening is they say to me, we would like you to be when they're deposing, we want you to be a character witness. That's what they were saying. And I said, okay, please explain. And they said, well, this lieutenant commander, this chief engineer had gotten caught on the ship doing the horizontal mambo. I'm trying to think of a nice way to say it.
That works.
Doing the nasty. So, doing the horizontal mambo with someone else on the ship, another officer on the ship. And I was like, well, color me surprised, So I said to them, to the lawyer, I said, well, look, I have emails that show that he was emailing me saying, let's do this, and that, and I'll, we'll be together and yada, yada, yada. And the thing that gets me the most, and when I tell you, you're going to be like, wow, his email address, okay? His email address, I remember it having this word in it. The word is puissance. The word puissance in French means power. Bro, you got no power no more. And like I straight, just testified against him. And I don't know what happened to him. And I also know that I never got an apology from that chain of command. Those three, nothing, not a single thing. And that really, like that kind of pissed me off for a while. And then I was like, you know what? I did what I needed to do to help future women not have to be subjected to his crap. And that made me proud of myself. But it also was like the impetus of me wanting to do something for other military women. And so it's part of my origin story of Military Women's Collective because I felt like I needed other people to hear me. I felt invisible, which a lot of women veterans do. A lot of women veterans, we feel invisible. We feel, we're not seen, we're not heard. And that is something that I want other women veterans to know, like we're here. And it's not just women veterans, it's military women that are still active duty and military women that are getting out and becoming women veterans. Because I know that when I was getting out, all of a sudden the camaraderie that you had, it does this, like it goes out from under your feet. Like you're just falling. Like, where did all these people that I used to connect with, where did they go? All of a sudden they're gone because you're in one day and you're out the next. And so there was the loneliness, there was the isolation, there was the honestly, the feelings of, suicidal ideations because I'm an extrovert. Surprise, surprise. And I need people, right? And I got out during COVID first of all, and so couldn't be around other people except my family, right? And I just so I started in Military Women's Collective just to have that ability to connect with others. And we're like 3 years in now, and I'm so happy that I've done it because I'm connecting women together, and we're doing all kinds of different events, like painting and clay, and just hiking, so many different things. Like I just really enjoy it.
That's awesome. And I think your story will resonate with a lot of people because unfortunately, you're not the first person to tell me like that you reported something and then
Yep.
being treated either people not believing you or
Yeah.
getting, retaliatory. And it's really sad because you went to that enlisted leader probably for not only to tell them, but to get like advice and support. And instead they like
Exactly.
took it straight to the top. There's
Exactly.
a bunch of you could have went to my supervisor. You could have done different things besides going straight all the way to the top. That's really disappointing to hear. And it was a
It
woman,
was.
right?
Yeah, it was so disappointing because I understand that she needs to tell the two of them what I said, but the fact that they had that halo, I mean, you've heard of the halo effect of, oh, well, this person could never do something like that because they're so nice and they give this and this and that. It does not matter. If a person, gives to charity, they could still be a freaking homicidal maniac. You know what I mean? Like, uh, I don't know. It just really it
And there
really
were
upset
2 of
me.
you that went together who were both
I
experiencing.
didn't bring her with me to go up there because she was like I said, I was an E5. She was an E3. I was not going to subject her to that. No way. And that was the other thing that was crazy. She was somebody that was on that ship 20, like not 24/7, but she was somebody that was stationed on that ship. So she had to deal with him all the time. I was new, you know, and not even from the ship. And so I think that was why he thought that he could whatever. I don't even know what the heck he was thinking, but
Yeah.
ugh,
Yeah, but because of that halo effect and the way that women were treated, it allowed that to, people knew they could get away with it because of
yeah,
the culture that was created. And so,
yep, so
yeah, thank you for sharing that story. I know it's not easy to talk about, but I think it's important because I wanted to bring you on to talk about military women's collective, because I see you on LinkedIn. I see all the stuff that you're doing. So I wanted to talk about it and let women know about another resource available. So can you talk? I guess you told a little bit of like kind of why you wanted to help women and you wanted to bring women together, but what else are you guys doing?
oh, so we have a hiking program. So most of the things that we do are local to Southern California. So Riverside County, San Bernardino County, both of those are north of San Diego County and east of LA and Orange County. We do also do some stuff in Orange County, also do some stuff down in San Diego County. Um, but I noticed that there wasn't um, a lot of things happening, for women veterans in the Riverside County. We call it the Inland Empire.
Yes.
Both San Bernardino and Riverside County together is the Inland Empire, and that stretches, basically from where I'm at near Temecula all the way to like Palm Springs and just I mean I think even all the way out to like 29 Palms type area. I mean it's a big area. Um, and like I said, I noted there's so many people, veterans and active duty military members that live in these two counties because it's like half the price of San Diego County. I'm just saying. Um, it's much less expensive than San Diego County or OC or LA or any of those. And you get, there's more room. So, we came up here uh, after I retired and stuff like that. And I just wanted to be able to offer women and their families in this area the ability to go do stuff and meet other women veterans together, right? And so We have a hiking program. We try to go at least once a quarter, if not once a month. Um, just because there's so many different amazing things around here. There's slot canyons down by Encinitas. We've got a preserve, an ecological preserve here in Temecula. There's areas up in Oak Glen, which are off the I-10. There's places down in San Diego. Like we went and did a hike down near Escondido, Rancho Bernardo area. Just want to make sure that women are able to get out and connect with one another, make new friendships. Uh, Here about a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago, we did a clay painting. Oh, darn, I wish I had it in my office because I could totally show you what it looks like. I'm trying to see if I have any other ones. Well, I mean, I'm going to show you one my daughter did, which is like super scary. Yes, when she was younger, but it's something like this is a penguin, but the one that I did, I ended up doing something with a cactus because California, um,
Right.
and we also did a actual like a paint and sip. We've done one of those. If I take off the camera setting,
Blur.
I wish I could do it. I was trying to see if I could take off my camera setting, but behind me, I don't know if you can see this picture right here. It's of a boot and a like a combat boot and a high heel, and that
Oh,
was one
okay.
we did for women together. We have, let's see, what else is coming up? Oh, so Military Women's Collective is going to be collaborating with the Travis Manion Foundation to do the Honor Project. Riverside National Cemetery is, believe it or not, most people think it's Arlington, but it's not. It's the largest cemetery in the U.S. is Riverside National Cemetery here in California, and so we're going to be laying commemorative tokens on different grave sites in a specific area because you can nominate a fallen hero, and we'll go to that specific section of the cemetery, and we'll do the honor project there. We also have something, an escape room, really fun. My daughter and I tried the place out just to make sure it was fun, and yeah, we had a great time. And so I've booked that for next month, which I think should be a really good time for anybody that's in the area. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, just all kinds of different things that we. Oh, I also do monthly meditation. So on the fourth Saturday of the month, I think it's the fourth or the third. I don't remember. No, third. I'm sorry, third Saturday of the month. It's We do a monthly meditation at noon, just to relax and just be able to learn new ways to have coping strategies for
Hmm.
yourself, and I love it. It's a good time.
That's so awesome. Yeah, I've seen that you're posting a lot of stuff. I'm like, "Ooh, hiking. I don't know how I missed that." But hopefully I can make it out to one of the hikes soon. I'm in the LA area. It might be a drive, but it would still be really fun. So,
There are some that we a lot of times work also with like different nonprofits. So the mission continues. They do a lot of events, like in the OC area or in Orange
okay.
County. So we go up there a lot to assist them as well. So yeah, if you can make that one, I know that they're doing things right now for Earth Month, because Earth Day is, I think, next week.
Yep, it
Um,
is. As of recording, yes, it is.
yeah, and
Got us.
so there's a bunch of different things that are happening. I think I Love a Clean San Diego does things as well. I've worked with them before for Earth Day. Just there's so many different things, and I have tons of resources. Like if people need any help finding, if they don't want to come to MWC, find something else. Team Red, White, and Blue. I mean, gosh, that one's more like fitness. Team Rubicon, they do stuff for disaster. So they're up in LA now helping out with the fires, the coast fires. Just literally anything you can think of. You know, Team Red, White, and Blue or Team RWB is fitness. I mean, there's literally whatever you're looking for. It could be for mental health. It could be, I mean, like I said, whatever anyone needs, if they hit me up, if I don't know, then I know somebody who knows.
Yeah. Yeah, you're such a wealth of knowledge, and I'm really glad that we got to do this interview. We're about to run out of time, so I want to end it with my last question, which is, what advice would you give to a young woman who's considering joining the military?
Do your research. Do your research and make sure which one you want to go into. It depends. They're so different. They really are. I mean, for me, I knew I wanted to be able to travel a lot because I had grown up traveling. So for me, the Navy made sense. If I hadn't joined the Navy, I probably would have joined the Air Force, like yourself, Miss Amanda, because the Air Force has really nice bases, y'all. I'm just saying. But you know, it's cool to be on a floating city also. So it's, you know, I also want them to make sure that they never put themselves in a position of being unsafe also. That is something that is really, really important. And that was something that I always made sure when I was the training officer on my last ship, that I put that information out. I said, look, you know, the people around you are your family, but you also need to understand that there could be somebody here that could harm you. Like there could be a predator in this room, and you won't know until, you know, the worst thing happens. And I always do my best to prepare, you know, any young woman when they ask me about the military. I'm like, look, there's amazing highs, but there's like super low lows if something like that happens. And it's just being able to take care of yourself and to never put yourself in a position of where you could be harmed. Yeah, that's.
And if something does happen, realize that there's resources around you that can help you.
So true. Oh, very much true. Yes.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for what you're doing for women veterans. I really appreciate everything you share on LinkedIn, and I'm just glad we got to do this interview.
Me too. Thank you so much, Amanda. This was awesome.